information, because only then does the issue of perjury arise. It's very simple. Were you induced, threatened, or influenced? No recording is going to answer that question for him. It's a factual issue that only he can speak to. And I don't see how the issue of self-incrimination arises in respect to whether or not he was a victim of influence, inducement, or threats. Thank you.
Chairperson, the moment you answer that as an example in the positive, a number of questions flow from there. So that is simply put my answer to that.
Like? You said a number of questions arise. I'm saying like?
Let's say you do admit that you were induced, because you need to look at the whole context of that question. Your appearance, whether you induced it or influence, give false evidence. The emphasis here is not your evidence as a whole. Everything that precedes the word false evidence relates to the word false evidence. Inherent in the issue of false evidence, because that evidence was given under oath, there's a presumption, or not a presumption, it's inferred here in this question that that evidence was false. Now the question is, were you, and we go to the preceding aspects thereof. The moment you answer this in any form or manner, it relates to the issue of the false evidence. And the client has said, I invoke my right to not incriminate myself on this issue. And to me, that is the end of it. We will make a supplementary affidavit, as he indicated, and deal with this issue in everything. This is not, were you induced to give any evidence there. This is specifically targeted at the word false evidence. Thank you, Chairperson.
In the interest of time, may we park this for the supplementary affidavit, please, Ms. Silva?
We could very well park it, but I would expect...
Unless you had other follow-up questions.
No.
But this specific one, let's just...
I wouldn't have had other follow-up questions, and I know that the question that the chair has posed, I'm none the wiser as to what could follow up to any answer given. Because if the answer is no, I was not influenced, that's where the matter dies. If the answer is yes, I will deal with the detail in my supplementary affidavit. That is a complete answer. But then I will take the chair's cue. It shall be dealt with in the supplementary statement. And I expect, and I think it's not unreasonable for us to expect, that to the direct question whether he was induced, threatened, or influenced to give false evidence will be answered directly as a yes or a no, before any other effect is dealt with in respect of 2.3.5. Thank you.
Let's just park it and let's see what will come out of the flash. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Sounds like we're kicking the can down the road, but we'll catch up with that can at some point. The next question then, Mr. Matlala, under paragraph 2.3, is to be found at page 5, at the top of page 5. And it required you to speak to the recording of your interrogation on December 2024 and 2025 by witness C or any other police officer who interrogated you after your arrest. You haven't dealt with it here, so for the record, I would like you to address yourself to that, whatever position you assume in respect to.
Chairperson, maybe at this point, based on this particular issue, it's one of the legal aspects that I intend to raise with you in due course. It's an issue that a client as a layperson cannot deal with, and it relates directly to the rights that you are afforded under the Constitution once you're an accused or a suspect person, and you were then made or forced or coerced, whatever you want to call it, into making a statement. We intend to deal with this aspect more fully before you, both factually and legally, as to why we say this aspect needs to be dealt with on a legal basis. I can point out to you why we say this. You cannot deal with the greatest respect with this statement here for a large number of reasons, but I would suggest again, as I've said before, wait for the factual foundation and the issues that's contained in there, and then make a ruling on that aspect. As I said, I jump in here because it's not an issue that a layperson can deal with when it comes to your rights as an accused person, because it's common cause that at that point he was arrested. When he was interrogated for hours on end, I've addressed you on this issue.
Yeah, I think there must be a difference between an answer to the question, why did you not address 2.36? Because he didn't address it. We're talking about his affidavit, not your legal opinion on why it should not be addressed. The question is, you filed an affidavit in answer to questions. There's 2.36. You did not answer that question. The witness is completely competent and must answer that question, why he did not address it. You can argue later on, but what you're doing now is you're giving answers that the witness should give, and that's improper. It's improper. That's what you have just done now, and I would urge that you allow the witness to speak to answer a factual question. It's a fact. This can only be a factual answer to the question, why did you not answer? If he wants to say, because my lawyer advised me not to, or speak to my lawyer, that's his answer to the question. Then we know why he did not answer it. But what you've just done now is improper. You're answering questions, and you can't argue past it. You're answering questions on behalf of a witness, and that's improper.
Commissioner, you've now 3 times said that I acted improper. The intention was not to act improper. The intention was to bring to your attention that this is an issue that's got a legal basis in it. But I understand what you're saying, and the witness can answer the question.
Well, you've answered it already. Ms. Silo, do you want to ask the question again? Maybe you'd say it differently.
I think it's pointless asking the question again. If Mr. Matlala is an attentive listener, he would know what to say. And I agree with you, Commissioner Baloyi, because I think Mr. Matlala, we should remind ourselves that Mr. Matlala says at his paragraph 4, and I quote, where I make submissions of law, I do so on the advice of my legal representatives, which advice I verily believe to be correct. And that's what always happens in the drafting of affidavits. The witness will speak to matters of law on the advice of his legal representatives. And in this instance, Mr. Matlala has warned us that that is possible, and he may do so. And this is one such occasion. If a proper response to the question at 2.3.6 includes issues of law that he must traverse, he will do so in the statement, and we know that he does so not because he's a lawyer or claiming to understand matters of law, but that he's acting on the advice given to him by his legal counsel. So it really would just be go through the motions to repose the question. So if I may, with your leave, if I may pose a different question, Mr. Matlala, are you able to, in your supplementary, deal with your failure to answer the question at 2.3.6? You first tell the commissioners why you didn't deal with it in this statement, and then to respond thereto as required. And thirdly, you may invoke whatever or assert any right you have in respect to issues reflected at 2.3.6.
Let me do it differently. Let's ask for an answer from Mr. Matlala. Why did you not deal with this question?
Why did I do what?
Why did you not deal with the question at 2.3.6 at page 5 of the notice?
Yes, it's because these are some of the things that I'm disputing. So I actually was supposed to at least say in my first affidavit that I'm disputing the legality and the authenticity of these recordings. So I didn't address it now because I was preparing to dispute it on a later stage.
But, for example, with regard to those issues in respect of which you are raising the privilege that you've been asserting, you have told us that you are not responding to these questions because you are asserting that privilege.
Yes.
So I don't follow what you are saying, because here you've chosen to keep silent, which is why the question is being asked. Why were you silent about it? Because with others, you have said something, even though you are not going to be answering the question directly, you have said something which is, for example, to assert your privilege. So the silence is strange with regard to this one, just like the others that Ms. Silo took you through. So why did you not answer it?
Yeah, Chairperson, I will say it's because I was not going to invoke my right to self-incrimination. I was going to dispute the recordings. So maybe I should have said that I was supposed to, I'm going to dispute them, not saying anything at all. But I was not going to say I do not want to comment because of self-incrimination. I'm disputing them at all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Noted. Then the basis on...
Of course, I did not ask that direct question to take us away from the point made by Ms. Sillo right at the end, which was that the issue of your exercise of the privilege should be addressed in the supplementary affidavit, because that is what your counsel, Ms. van den Heever, says is an issue being raised, even in respect of 2.3.6. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. I think we have addressed issues arising from paragraph 2.3 of the notice as served on you. I'm back to your statement at page 14, and I see after dealing with the question posed to paragraph 2.3.4, you then skip from paragraph 18 to the question posed at paragraph 2.5.1. You confirm that? If you look at page 14, you see your paragraph 17 deals with what was asked of you at paragraph 2.3.4.
Yes, I see that.
Then it is followed at paragraph 18 with what's asked of you in paragraph 2.5.1 of the notice.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if we go to the notice, I realize that there was another question at 2.4, paragraph 2.4. And this EMPD, that's Ekurhuleni Metropolitan Police Department, including individuals employed therein, including agreements, in brackets, actual or negotiated, with individuals within the EMPD, donation of vehicles and installation and use of vehicles fitted with blue lights. In particular, who was involved, what the plan was, and what became of the plan, and ultimately the use of vehicles fitted with blue lights and the use of peace officer cards. You have not dealt at all in your statement with paragraph 2, what's required at paragraph 2.4. Is there a reason for that?
Yeah, there is a reason. I was supposed to also claim my privilege of self-incrimination because there are people who are already charged, and I'm also being mentioned as a suspect, and even my family member is being interviewed. There's a statement that already has been supplied to the law enforcement in regards to the EMPD blue lights and peace officer cards.
It's difficult to understand that answer for similar or for reasons similar to those that I stated when I last engaged you, which is a few minutes back. You have countless times, I don't know how many times, asserted your privilege against self-incrimination. Why, in respect of other questions, you choose to be silent instead of also asserting that privilege escapes me? So that's why I say it's difficult to accept that to be the answer, or to accept that as an answer. Do you want to comment?
Chairperson, I'm working on the affidavit that was drafted by my attorney. I was just being interviewed, and I gave my attorney my view of the questions. So why some of them were not included here, I cannot answer, but because I'm the one who signed this affidavit, because meaning that I acknowledge everything that is in the affidavit. But I will say because of the circumstances that I find myself in now, some of the things, they just keep my mind. I do not know why this thing was not part of it, because actually it was supposed also to be here and claim my privilege to self-incrimination.
Thank you, Chair. I see it's quite a wide and expansive question. And on the one hand, it speaks of your general relationship with EMPD, of your relationship and extent thereof with any individuals employed in EMPD, agreements concluded with individuals within EMPD, and all this is before the blue lights. So then it goes further to speak to donations, any donations of vehicles. Again, it doesn't say anything about blue lights. Blue lights only appears thereafter, installation and use of vehicles fitted with blue lights. So I'm not sure when you say you are asserting a right, are you asserting a right not to self-incriminate if you testify about relationships you have with any members of EMPD? What self-incrimination could potentially arise from that?
If you can go back, Commissioner, I've mentioned about my involvement with the former Mayor Tanya Campbell of the State of the City address. I did not add it again here because I already touched on it. So the following questions, it was about the blue lights and individuals that I might know, which obviously is one that I know from EMPD. So hence I'm saying the affidavit itself was not drafted by myself, but I'm responsible for it because I've signed for this affidavit. So I can answer that who I know in the EMPD, yes. But I cannot say, go further and speak about things that are already, people that are already charged, and then who, even myself, I might end up being a co-accused in this matter.
I can understand. You can speak about people who are charged. As long as the charges they face, you don't run the risk of being included in. But the fact that they are charged is neither here nor there. It doesn't stop. And there's nothing that stops you from speaking about them. And I think that is my challenge with how you dealt with paragraph 2.4. You concentrated on the latter part of that paragraph, which speaks to the blue lights. And then you invoke your right against self-incrimination, and you extend it to everything that is contained in 2.4. And from what you're saying now, if I understand you correctly, that's not what you intend to do. You intended to assert your right insofar as the issue of blue lights is concerned, and that there are people who are potentially facing charges in respect thereof, and that you are at risk also of being included therein. Am I understanding you correctly? And that's got nothing to do with the first part of the question. So you are able to answer those questions without asserting or without complaining that any of your constitutional rights are being infringed. So would it then be fair to say in your supplementary statement we can expect a response to that question delineating exactly which aspect of 2.4 entitles you to assert your rights, your constitutional rights, and which aspects of 2.4 you are able to answer to? And then, of course, as is the case with the rest of the questions where you assert your rights, you extend a full basis for assertion of such a right. Would that be fair to conclude on that point?
I agree, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Can I just ask, you say you suspect, I think you used the language, you suspect you will be added as an accused. Have you been informed by any law enforcement person that you are a suspect relating to any of these issues that arise here?
What I know is I heard that my name has been mentioned, and also the Speaker of SAPS, after their court appearance, mentioned my name. So I do not know the extent of the investigation. So I do not know whether I will be added as an accused person or not.
Yes. So apart from your name was mentioned in the way that you say, you don't know that you are being treated at this point as a suspect because no one has come to you to speak to you?
I do not know that.
No one has come to speak to
Yes.
you about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Perhaps let's try to break it down, Ms. Olo. Do you have any relationship with the EMPD? If so, what is its nature?
The EMPD or EMPD official?
That's the second part. That's the second part. It says including individuals. So as part of me breaking this down, I thought I should just take EMPD. But if you want to deal with both, fine. So if you do have a relationship with EMPD officials, do you have such a relationship? What is its nature? So I chose to break it down by referring only to the EMPD, but maybe let me broaden it and say with the EMPD and or including its employees. If so, what's the nature of that relationship?
Not the EMPD, but the EMPD official, yes, I do have a relationship.
And what's the nature and who's the official or who are the officials?
It's only one official. His name is Julius Mkhwanazi.
And what's the nature of that relationship?
I will say he's a friend.
Do you want to take it from there, Ms. Sildo?
If it is this, perhaps I will. Can you speak more about this friendship and to indicate the nature of this friendship and whether it involves his role as a commissioner within EMPD?
Can you please repeat that question?
You say you have a friendship with Commissioner Julius Mkhwanazi of EMPD.
Yes,
You called him a friend.
yes.
And I'm inviting you to speak more about this friendship, and in so doing to indicate whether or not that friendship involves his role as a commissioner within EMPD.
Okay, I know Julius Mkhwanazi through one of my business associates. So he's been coming to one of our clinics a lot, and then to a point where I ended up meeting him through one of my business associates.
And who is this business associate, if you may help us?
It's Mr. Mike van Wyk.
Please proceed. Please go ahead. You had said he's a friend, so I take it I accept you say that you were introduced to him by your business associate, Mr. van Wyk, but then from your earlier response, I take it then you subsequently establish a friendship.
Yes.
Can you tell us more about this friendship?
More in which way, Commissioner?
In a way.
I want to understand.
Sorry, Mr. Matlala. I guess the point is, if you are introduced to someone, you don't just through being introduced become friends. How exactly did this unfold? How did you become friends? There's Mr. van Wyk, here's Deputy Commissioner Mkhwanazi or Commissioner Mkhwanazi, and there you are as well. Mr. Matlala, meet Mr. Julius Mkhwanazi. So what Ms. Sildo, as I understand it, wants to know is, and then you've not reached the point where you are friends. All you've said is you were introduced.
Indeed, thank you, Chair.
Yeah, I've been introduced by Mike van Wyk, and I think because of the security business side, that's why we ended up being close. Because at that time is when there was I think Mike van Wyk told him about my security business and stuff, and then he at some point asked me if I can help them with, they needed extra security backup for the state of the city address. So I did that, but it was not something which was a tender or there was no any financial gain. So I did that, yes. So, and going further, I will say, from time to time after that, now we will call each other now and then. So we end up being close because of now we call each other now and then we speak and then we meet. So I do not know how to actually elaborate this to, I don't know.
Okay, is it
The
then?
thing, sorry,
Please go ahead.
Chairperson. The thing is, I do not want to go to a point where now I end up going to the things which I know now he's been charged with, and then some of those things, I'm also, my name has also been mentioned. So I'm not just leaving some of why I am not going deep into the depth of our relationship, because some of the things, yes, I might say them, but unfortunately for now, I just want to know first what is happening with this criminal matter.
Yeah, no, I don't think that's where Ms. Silo wanted to push you. Point is, I've been introduced to countless people in my lifetime. Not all of them have become my friends. So all you had mentioned at the point Ms. Silo wanted you to go further was that you were introduced. So Ms. Silo wanted to get an idea of how you became friends. Not that, at least not at that point.
Indeed.
She was pushing you to get into any possible criminality. I'm not saying you were involved in any, I'm not suggesting that. I'm just mentioning it because you got to a point where you sought to assert the privilege. I'm just explaining.
Thanks, Chairperson.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chair. I take it then in your supplementary statement, when you've had an opportunity to fully apply your mind to the question posed at paragraph 2.4, and the criminal case that you say Commissioner Mkhwanazi is currently a subject of, that you'll be able to walk that tightrope and answer the question to the best of your abilities without, you say, attracting any criminal liability against yourself. So perhaps we'll get a better understanding, because I want to conclude on this point on the basis that now we understand you are friends with him, and friends are not acquaintances. And friends are people who have a relationship different from two people who have just been introduced. So you got introduced and you developed this relationship, which you classify as a friendship. Is that a fair conclusion to make?
Yes.
And that it's a question, and I'm checking whether flowing from such friendship, your engagement with EMPD, I think you said, on providing security services to former Mayor Tanya Campbell, does your friendship have any bearing on the provision of those services, or it's a different issue completely?
We were not friends by then.
Sorry, I say that?
We didn't establish that friendship relationship by then.
At that time. Were there any engagements with EMPD involving you personally or any of the companies under your control, flowing from the friendship you developed with Commissioner Mkhwanazi?
No, nothing.
Nothing.
Yes.
Were there any engagements you had with him as a friend that were intended to contractually bind the EMPD at all, or you didn't have that kind of engagement and discussion as friends?
That is a very tricky question, Commissioner.
Yes.
Because now it's taking me back to what I'm saying, that I do not want to get into that territory.
Okay, I guess it's something you can apply your mind to when you file that supplementary statement. I departed from the assumption that your response will be a no, which would put paid to everything, but I'll basically give you the opportunity to go consider it, and please address it in your supplementary to the extent that you are able to. If, however, you are not, then I would expect that you set out a basis for why you are not answering, and if you assert any particular right, that you articulate it in your response. I would appreciate that. Would that be a fair expectation on my part?
It's okay.
Thank you. Then, if Chair, we are at the tail end, my proposal would be to
That's the tail end of the questions, but the responses in the statement. And which paragraph are we at now?
we are now headed to paragraph 18 of the statement.
18, let me check.
And if the chair will have regard to the question at paragraph 2.5, we continue.
Let's finish the statement.
Yes, thank you, Chair.
The questions and the statement.
Indeed. Mr. Matlala, I hope you can bear with us. I'm suggesting that we rather work through part of the hour of the lunch and finish your statement so that we can release you early as well for today. So
It's
if
okay.
it's okay, thank you. We're at page 14, we are at your paragraph 18. And at paragraph 18, you are responding and following, you are responding to questions posed to you and paragraph 2.5 of the notice. And the notice at page 5, paragraph 2.5, required you to speak to the nature and extent of your relationship with listed individuals from subparagraph 2.5.1 to 2.5.9, and that you give detail regarding your communication with them. You see the question?
I do.
You begin your response there too at paragraph 18, and you say at paragraph 2.5.1, and at 2.5.1 is in regard to Mr. Jotham Msibi, the late. If you could then deal with your paragraph 18.
I place on record that one of my companies, CAT VIP, previously provided security services to the late Jotham Msibi. My relationship with him was that of rendering security services. Mr. Msibi was a taxi business owner who was regarded as one of the industry leaders and operated more than 200 taxis. It is standard practice that in the taxi industry that for owners of taxis, especially large fleet, to require close protection services. The very same services that I provided Mr. Msibi.
My apologies, Mr. Matlala. I think you are not as audible as perhaps we would hope you to be. It's brought to my attention.
Okay.
I do appreciate that you speak softly, so perhaps try and bring them closer,
yeah.
the microphones closer to you.
So should I repeat this?
I think that there's a general nod around the room. Yeah, just please quickly reread your paragraph 18 into the record. Thank you.
I place on record that one of my companies, CAT VIP, previously provided security services to the late Jotham Msibi. My relationship with him was that of rendering security services. Mr. Msibi was a taxi business owner who was regarded as one of the industry leaders and operated more than 200 taxis. It is standard practice in the taxi industry for owners of taxis, especially large fleet, to require close protection services. The very same services that I provided Mr. Msibi.
Thank you for that. From paragraph 19, you deal with a different issue. I note how you describe your relationship with Mr. Msibi, and you say you rendered security services. Did you have a relationship other than provision of these security services with the late Mr. Msibi?
Relationship as a client?
So you had a relationship as a client. Any other?
Friendship, maybe?
He was a very old man. He was not my friend.
Like a son, perhaps, then?
Yeah, he used to call me son, but not because of I was his son, but
Yes.
that was his way of addressing me.
Other business relationships?
Yes, there was.
What?
Actually, we attempted to, we never had that business, but we attempted to have a business.
Did you have a personal relationship with him? By personal, I want to distinguish it from a relationship as a service provider. Did you develop a personal
Yes, I was
relationship
close with him, yes.
You're close?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. At paragraph 18, overleaf, 19, sorry, overleaf, you then deal with a different person. You are responding to 2.5.2, and here you are requested to speak to the nature and extent of your relationship with Mr. Stephen Mutsumi. You deal with that at paragraph 19, so if you could read that.
I can confirm that I know Mr. Mutsumi and that I have done a commercial transaction with him wherein his company had lent me an advance, one of my companies, an amount of 5 million rands.
No, it's 5 million, right?
Yes, 5 million, yes.
When was this? When was this loan extended?
When was when?
When was this when you say he lent and advanced one of your companies an amount of 5 million?
I think it was 2024, the end of 2024.
And do you have, was this on a basis of a written agreement or just an oral agreement?
Yes, it's a written agreement.
A written agreement?
Yes.
Are you able to provide a copy?
Yes, I will.
And which, you say one of your businesses, which business was this?
It's Medicare.
Medicare?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you say you have done a commercial transaction where you say he had lent in advance, so the 5 million was duly paid over to Medicare.
Yes.
Thank you. Now
Can I just
You-
ask?
yes.
Sorry, Mr. Is this the only kind of relationship that you've had with Mr. Mutsumi?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
and in fact, that is where I was leading to, so you confirm that he's not your friend.
No.
Do you have any other personal relationship with him besides commercial transactions?
No, I don't have.
How did you come to ask for a loan from him?
Why or how?
How?
I called him and asked for money.